Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Diversity in Cinema Academy. Today I'm going to be discussing the role of the videographer. Now the reason why I decided to do this video is because I just recently got a gig as a videographer and I thought it would be really cool to take you through that whole entire process from the beginning of pitching it to the end when I finally deliver it, right? So it's going to be an entire series that I think would be really beneficial to you because I know a lot of us would love to, get straight to making a movie. But one thing about it in this business, sometimes those movie gigs is far and few in between. So to have other gigs and constantly working on your craft by working with other type of media related jobs will really keep your skills and your craft up to par. So when you do get your next movie gig, then you can do that. So if you're new to my channel, I'm Theta Catalan, and this is the place to be if you're an indie filmmaker, video creator, and screenwriter. The things that we're going to be talking about today in this video is going to be, first, we're going to talk about the project proposal. And the next thing you're going to do is discuss your next steps with your client. And the third thing that you're going to do is you're going to create a project management calendar. And I specifically use Asana, and I'm going to walk you through that whole entire process. So now, the first thing is the project proposal. Now, I like using QuickBooks to create my project proposal. And the reason why I do that is because, first of all, it's in an invoice form, and if they like everything that they see, they already have the invoice and they just can press pay and send the first deposit. So that's why I use QuickBooks to do my project proposals, and I'm going to give you a brief example of how I do that. So this is what an invoice actually looks inside of QuickBooks, and the first thing that you would do when you would come to the invoice is that you would select your customer, and so basically you will put their information here, and then after that you will put their email address here. So make sure when you are talking to someone that you're actually getting this information from them, and then you're gonna put their billing address here. So if you actually have an actual address, then you would put their address there, or you can just simply put their email address there. Then you would come here to terms. So this is, you can decide if it's due on receipt or within 15 days or 30 days or 60 days. So you basically let them know when they should make payments, and then you will put your invoice date. So basically if you create an invoice for to date and you're sending it out to date, then you will put that date, and then you will put the due date here. So like, again, if it's in 15 days, then you will put that date there. If it's 30 days, whatever, then you will put that date there. And then QuickBooks automatically keeps up with your invoice number, which is really good when it comes to tracking your information for tax purposes. So QuickBooks, that's another reason why I choose to do it in QuickBooks, because it's automatically updating my checks and balances and my profit and loss report. So when it's time for me to get my bookkeeping together for tax purposes, all of it is already done. It's in the system. It's automatically doing it for you. So that's another reason why you want to do QuickBooks. You got to bring all of it together, make it all make sense. You know what I mean? So now the next thing that you would do is you would start filling out the actual invoice. And see, this is how I lay out my project proposal in there. I like, my first line item is the services of videography, right? So I basically say everything. I give a description of what I'm going to do as a videographer, and then here quantity is the amount of hours that I put in. So, and you want to explain that to the customer. So like when you actually send the email to them, you want to say, hey, quantity stands for hours, or it can be days or whatever. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that with days as well. And you let them know that this is an estimate as well, because you don't know for sure that it's going to actually take you 20 hours. It can actually take you longer than 20 hours. So, but you put in an estimate of how many hours it would actually take you to do the job, and then you will put your rate. So there will be $75 an hour. So that's why I said 75 times 20 hours will be $1,500. And another thing that's great about QuickBooks, it does the math for you. So you just put in the numbers and then it's going to do the math for you. Okay, so the next line item that you would add is your camera rental. But before I get into that, here's my friendly reminder. Please hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications if you want to continue receiving content that help you with your film productions. And so here, when it comes down to quantity, then you would let them know that is days, so not hours. So I would say, okay, I think that this particular shoot is going to take me 4 days. And then you put whatever your rate is. And that all depends on what kind of camera that you have. So my best suggestion, if you don't know how much your particular camera is, just go to a rental house, go online, look at some of the cameras that they have and see how much they are charging. Boom, there you go. That's how much you charge for your camera. And so then again, it does the math for you. 4 days times $100 is $400. All right. So then your next line item is your light kit rental. The same thing goes for the light kit rental, like you did for your camera rental and microphone rental. You will put how many days, how much you are going to charge them for, and then let the system do the math for you. So then the next line item would be your AV script, meaning your audio visual script. So in videography, documentaries, commercials, they typically use an audio visual script. So say for instance, the script would look like you would see audio on one side and visual on one side. So basically what is being stated and then what we would be seeing at that time. Okay. So then you'll put the amount of hours you think that it would take for you to do that. And again, these are estimates. And then you will put how much your hourly rate is for that. Okay, so the next line item would be if you're adding B-roll or stock footage to the video, you would just add that on as research, because you got to go and look and scroll through thousands upon thousands of video. And believe me, you can fall through a rabbit hole and just be going for hours and hours and hours. So you don't want to do that, honestly. And so you're just putting in like how many hours you think that would actually take you to do. Okay. And then again, you put how much your rate is, and then let the system do what it do. Let QuickBooks add it up for you. Okay, so the next line item is editing. And so basically you would lay out every single thing that you plan on doing for editing. So jump cuts, titles, lower thirds, speed ramping, keyframing, transitions, text animations. Look, the whole list. As you can see, you just go down and let them know exactly what you're going to be doing in editing, because a lot of times people may not realize like how much work actually goes into editing. You see a 5-minute video and you were like, oh, this is just 5 minutes long, but it took you hours upon hours to create that 5-minute video. So you just want to lay it all out so they can really get a good gist of what you had to do in order to bring their vision to life. Okay, and so then your last line item is planning. So like I said, when you first putting your project proposal together, when you have to put together your project management calendar, when you have to have a vision meeting with them, that's all of the planning process. So you just want to make sure that you let them know exactly how many hours, again, an estimate on how long it's going to take to actually do the planning process, scouting locations, all of that. That's all a part of the planning process. So you just want to give a good estimate on how long you think that's going to take. And then boom, you put your hours in, and you put your rate, and let QuickBooks do its math. All right. So as you can see, it automatically adds all of those numbers up. So just keep that in mind and you'll see how much that would be. And then over here, you can put a message on your invoice. Like, I just like putting something about my company on there. So they're just, know it's coming from TCAT Films, because, QuickBooks will automatically send this invoice to them. So you just want to send that a little message on there so they'll know it's coming from TCAT Films. And I also put another message on the statement that says terms and conditions. And so basically I typically send a freelancer agreement. So you can put like a brief message on there that say review terms of service on freelancers agreement. And then you'll also let them know that an invoice will be sent each month with hours of work log. And that's just depending on whatever you have in your agreement. So maybe you didn't put that in your agreement, But that's what that section would be. Oh, and be sure to add this to your freelancer's contract. Make sure that you have the contract date, the services that you provide. Then you're going to also want to make sure that you have a timeline of how long it would take, and then what is your delivery date, because you don't want this going on forever for them or you, okay? Because sometimes a client can drag stuff out, and you want to make sure that you're keeping yourself on time. And then you also want to make sure that you have your compensation on exactly how much you're going to get paid. Your invoice can do the full layout, but you just can basically put your hourly rate on there. So you don't want to put your estimated, like that 5,500, you don't want to put that on there. You want to just say what your hourly rate is, and also put your equipment rental on there as well. And then you also want to add whatever your client responsibilities are to you, because it's not just on you. They need to make sure that they're providing everything that you need to succeed with this gig. And lastly, you want to make sure that they understand the termination of services in the agreement, just in case if y'all need to part ways. Everybody will be very clear on exactly how that is done. Okay, so and then here you can also attach that freelancer's agreement, so it just make it easier for you. Instead of having to send another email, it all will just come from QuickBooks. Again, that's why I said use QuickBooks, because it's just knocking out so many stones at once, and so you don't have to be doing several different emails. It'll just come directly from QuickBooks. Okay, so after I receive payment, I send my client an email basically laying out the next steps that we're going to take. And I do this immediately after I send the payment. You know, I want my clients to see that I am professional and that I am moving on their project. I don't want them to think, oh, she didn't got the money, is she doing anything? It's like, nope, yes, I am doing something. So I immediately send them an email saying what the next steps are. And so then after I send them this email, I'm laying out basically like, hey, I'm about to create a project management calendar, and that's how I'm going to keep you abreast of everything that's going on with the project. And so personally, I use Asana to create my project management calendar, and it basically lays out every single thing that I'm going to do from the beginning of the proposal all the way through final delivery. So I'm going to show you an example of how I use Asana to create my project management calendar. Okay, so if you're finding any value in anything that I have shared with you so far in this video, go ahead and hit that like button and let me know, and let that YouTube algorithm know. It really does give me a boost in the algorithm. So this is what a project management calendar looks like in Asana. So far, what I have created is this to-do column, an in-progress column, and a complete column. And so I have actually created tasks so far. And so I created a project proposal task that we have went over. And basically, I showed you what I did when creating the project proposal in QuickBooks. And so that was one of the tasks that I needed to do. And so I just added that here. And then I also added another task, which is send freelancer agreement. So that it was another task that I needed to do. And so I added that in here. And so what you can do when you are creating the project file, you're creating these tasks, but once you come into the task, you can assign it to somebody. So if it's somebody else on the team other than myself, then you would put your name there, or you would select someone else to do it. And then you can set deadlines on when it is due, and then you can also add a description of exactly what is this task, right? And you can add more information. You can attach items. So if I want to attach the freelancer agreement, once it is signed and completed, I will put it in here. And you can attach pictures, videos, whatever inside of here. So if you want to understand how to actually put together an entire project management file, you can check out this video right here. Okay, you can check out that video, and I go through the whole process of starting a project management calendar. It will really help you, and if you want another breakdown of it, just let me know. I'm briefly going to go through this because I'm going to go through this calendar each time I do a new task. So I'm just going to go over the tasks that we're doing so far in the first part of pre-production. Okay, so once you have finished a task, you can click this arrow right here. And then as you can see, it is not highlighted anymore. And you can just move that into the complete column just like that. You just drag and drop. Okay, and so the next task that I've added to it is the pre-production. So basically, I assigned it to myself because I'm the one that's doing it. I put the due date, and then I also added a number of tasks that I will be completing during this phase of production. And so on here, you can see that I had the first steps email, and then I also have the project set up in Asana, and that's what I did. That's what you're looking at right now. And then I have scouting locations, and I have the vision meeting, AV script, storyboarding, and shot list. And as I move along with this vlog and this gig, I'm going to go through each one of those. So for brevity of this video, I just wanted to talk about the things that I have done thus far to show you how you can use these same tools to make your life and your client, because your client and customer service is what's most important. And if they see you as a professional, and I've had clients say this to me, like,
wow, the way you present things is so professional. You never know what you're going to get from people and all this kind of stuff.
And so professionalism really says a lot, and it makes people want to work with you again. Okay, so take that extra step to be organized and keep them abreast and make them feel like they're part of the process. Okay, so that's it for part 1 of this video series. The next video will be all about locations, because tomorrow I'm going on a location scout, and I want to take you through that whole entire process of what I do when I'm actually out there scouting a location. So be sure to come back next week to check out that video. And if you have any questions so far in this videography series, let me know in the comment section. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, then what are you waiting for? Like, seriously, go and get on that so you can stay abreast of everything that's gonna be going down. Okay, and if you're looking for another video to watch, go ahead and check out this leveling up your film business video. Okay, because this will get you on point on what you need to do to help level up your film business. Okay, so check it out now.